Hey YouTube, this is Donnie Smith and I'm back with another Q&A, and in this video I'm going to talk about matte and flat clears. So Dip Your Ride India says, can pearl be used with matte clear, or it has been added only to base coat, and can clear coat gloss be mixed with clear matte for satin finish or sheen for better durability and better looks? Here in India, clear base is not available, so it is possible to add a colored base and then mix the pearl in the clear gloss for second coat, and then add a third coat of matte and gloss mix for the sheen. Really looking forward for the pearl effect in satin or sheen finish. And thanks for asking this question. I'm a little confused about not having the clear base, but I'm going to try my best to answer this, and hopefully this helps. When you say there's no clear base, like if you have a tri-coat there, that mid coat, can you get that formula? For example, a lot of your tri-coats, a lot of your pearl coats or tinted clears, you put your base coat down, and then that mid coat, that's going to be your pearl or your tinted clear. That is in the base form. So I don't know if that is not available there, or if kind of trying to figure that out, because to get some of those colors, some of those tri coats, from the factory, uh, you'd have to have that mid coat color. But I'm still going to try my best to answer that. Can you mix it in the clear coat? I have not personally done that with this matte clear. You probably could. I'd probably only do it with the first couple of coats and then finish it out with your regular matte clear. Maybe one coat of pearl, or two at the most, and then put your regular clear coat, your matte, on top. And of course, just like with any of this, especially when you're custom painting or experimenting, try this in small volumes. Get your little test panel and make sure that it works. And especially when you're adding pearls to clears, sometimes it doesn't come out the way you think it does. Sometimes the pearls shift a little different than you was expecting. So I recommend really doing test panels, to achieve the look that you want to have, and then go from there. But I think it'd be very important, whenever you're doing this, and we'll talk more about this here in a minute. But if you did put some pearl in your first coat of clear coat, be certain that that has dried all the way. It's completely flat, matte, before you apply another coat. And that's true even if there is no pearl in it. But if you come with these type of clears and you put another coat down, there's still a spot that's kind of wet, it's probably going to affect the way that area looks. It's probably going to look blotchy right there. So from in between coats, in between your flash times, make certain there are no wet looking areas, that haven't dried completely. So can you add the clears together? And I'm just going to go by PPG. I'm going to talk about that because I'm familiar with it, and I've got a sheet that I'm going to pull up. But really, you're going to have to look at your technical data sheet for the products that you use. If it doesn't say nothing about mixing the clears together, I would be nervous to do that. I don't know. It'd be just something you'd have to try, if you're wanting to do that. But with PPG, there are two different clears that you can mix together to get the amount of, gloss that you want. And we'll go over those. So let's go ahead and pull that up, and we'll just kind of look at the technical data sheet and go over that. Okay, I have the technical data sheet, and this is PPG. They're matte and semi-gloss clear coat finish, and we'll talk about this. This is the D8115 and the D8117. And this is a clear coat system. We'll just kind of go through this and talk about how to apply this and how you can intermix these to get the desired look that you're looking for. First, it just talks about preparation, and I'll go ahead and mention that right now. It is very important, to have a clean job when applying these type of finishes. And the skill level. These aren't the easiest jobs to apply either. You have to be very good with your overlap, very consistent. If you're not, you might have some streaks, stripes, things like that. Flats are not the easiest to spray, flats and mats and things like that. But but it's very important that you have a clean job, that you're clean, the car's clean, the spray environment's clean, because you can't really sand and buff this type of paint, because if you have a run, or if you have a some dirt, in the finished product, if you sand and buff it, that area is not going to look different. It's going to be glossy there. So you can kind of denib as you go along until the final phases, final coats, and then you're kind of stuck with what you have. So you might need to make certain that everything's good and clean before you apply this. And then it's just talking about the mixing ratio. And it's a 3-1-1, and that again, that top one, the clear coat, that's going to depend. We're going to talk about how to blend that here in just a minute, but it's going to be 3 parts of the clear, 1 part of the hardener, and 1 part of the reducer. And it says here the pot life is 1 to 2 hours. And what that means is how long do you have to spray that before it starts gelling and getting hard in your gun. So, and again, it's going to depend on the temperature. This is at 68 degrees. If it's a lot hotter there, and it's summertime, it's going to be shorter than that. Okay, now here's where we're getting to pretty much answer your question, I believe. And this is with this one system, and probably every system has their own way of doing this. But depending on how flat or gloss you want it, they got you can have anywhere from flat to matte to eggshell to satin to semi-gloss. That's all the levels. And of course, if you wanted flat, you could just use the D8115 because that's totally flat there. 100% that, so it'd be 3 parts of that to 1 part hardener to 1 part to the reducer. But if you're wanting the matte look, and again, you can play with this. This is just kind of a guideline to get the exact effect that you're wanting. But the matte, you're going to use 85% of the 8115 and 15% of the 8117. And then you can kind of see this charge go down. The eggshell is going to be 70-30. The satin is going to be 40-60. Then you get to the semi-gloss. If that's the look you're going for, you don't need the 8115. It's going to be 100% of the 8117. So you can intermix these 2 clears, but getting just another PPG clear coat, just a regular gloss clear, I would not recommend that. I don't know if the hardeners, and they might react with each other. I'd stay within the system and the recommendations of the system that you're using. And it sounds like you have a pretty good idea of what you're looking for in this clear coat, so I would just get these, and you can play with them, tweak them, to the appearance that you want it. And with all technical data sheets, they'll give you the recommendations for the spray pressure, air pressure, and the settings. 1.2 to 1.4, viscosity of 15 seconds if you use a viscosity cup. HVLP, it always says 10 psi at the air cap, and that's going to vary to the gun that you use, what that is at the gun. And if you're using a compliant, of course, it's going to use a higher pressure at the gun. So to apply this clear coat, you're going to apply 1 full single coat. And again, I wouldn't try too hard to get it, too thick. Maybe more of a medium wet, almost full wet coat. But the key to this is to put it on nice and even. Make sure your overlap's right. Make sure all that's right. You might have some streaks or something like that. So put on a coat and be sure to let that flash off until you cannot see any wet spots and it looks flat. That the sheen has gone down to what it's going to look like. Like I said, if you still have a wet spot and then you spray on top of that again before it completely dried, you're probably going to have a spot that shows it's going to be different right there. So make sure that flashes off to the flat appearance. Once that is done, you put on another full wet coat and immediately buy a drop coat. It's a lighter coat, and this is just to help even it out. So it's recommended here, at 68 degrees, it's going to take about 15-30 minutes between coats. But again, make sure that you look at it to be certain that has flashed off before you apply more on. And it goes through all the tape times, like if you are going to retape, the dry to handle 12 to 16, dust free 45, tape times 12 to 16. And of course, this is PPG's product. I'm not sure what product you're using. Be sure and look up the technical data sheet for it. That you can go over this information for the specific product that you're using. I mean, it could vary some. So anyway, I hope that helps answer your question. Again, I'm a little bit confused on that there being no base clear. I mean, like in PPG, that'd be 500. DBC, DBU 500. But if you have a tri-coat, are you able to get that mid-coat color? That's kind of what my question is. And it's mixed with the mixing bake, but it does have just a lot of binders, clears, things like that, mixed in with some pearls, and that's how you get that mid-coat. Kind of curious about that. I'm kind of confused on that. If you had a tri-coat job there, are you able to get that mid coat? And you should be able to. If you find a formula that you like or a color, and it's a tri-coat, I mean, it uses, I would think this, it used with the same mixing bank, like PPG or whatever, and you'll have the part A, which will be the base coat, the color. Then you'll have, the part B, which is going to be your mid coat, and it should be able to be mixed up just like your paint. But I'm not sure. I really have no idea there. Maybe there's a, that's don't use it. I know even here in the U.S., we have a lot of different rules. Even from one state to the other, like from California to here in Kansas. There's different rules that apply. And I hope that helps answer your question. If not, leave a comment below. And if someone is familiar, with that area, and knows, what the rules are, or how you could get by with that, or has anybody out there put some pearl in your first coat of matte clear, let us know. Share with us so we'll know. That's something that I have not personally done. So, like I said, I have put it in regular clear coat in the first coat, and it worked fine, but haven't used the matte. And I hate to recommend something that I'm not absolutely sure about, because sometimes things could go wrong. But other than that, I would just say get some of the products and try it. I probably would not try to mix the matte clear and gloss clear together. 'Cause probably they've got two different hardeners and everything else, and that's probably going to cause some type of chemical reaction. But just try it, just like don't be afraid to try things. Just do it on a test panel though. You don't want to mess up a whole car or anything, but get some different test panels. Put a little bit of pearl in the first coat and see what it looks like. Play with the different mixtures if you're using this system. How much of a gloss level you want, to the appearance you're looking for. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, be sure and give us a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends, and we'll see you in the next video.